Hello everyone, it's Tuesday and I'm just getting set up, and thankfully this time I've actually managed to get all the stuff in place. Oh no, I'm not going to show you that, that's a little bit of a clue as to what we're drawing. There's that, oh my goodness. Let's get you cranked up, here we go, let's get you loaded so I can see your comments. How are you? That's what I want to know. How are you? Who have we got with us today? We've got about 5 minutes to go, give or take. And so one thing I'm going to say, I'll say it during the workshop as well, but one thing I'm going to say is that not next week, on the 3rd of August, there won't be a live illustration workshop. I'll record it on a different day, okay? And that's because we're doing an in-person workshop for real. Like, I guess I'm going on tour to one place, which is going to be at the Snobby Eddie Crafts studio on Rookwood Way in Haverhill, and we're going to be there for about an hour and a half doing an illustration workshop there with real people, not people on the end of a camera. So it's going to be quite exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, hang on. There we go. Yeah, it's going to be quite exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I've done a few in schools, obviously, but this is the first one where the paying public are going to come along. I think we're doing it for like, it's £12 a child or something like that for an hour and a half session. And if your child's a little bit more grown up, they can stick around with us. If they're over 7, they can stick around with us and we'll look after them. Or if they're a bit younger, you'll have to stay with them. But we're going to do a couple of them. Hopefully that will be something that we can do on a regular basis throughout the summer holidays. But I just wanted to fill you in that on the 3rd of August, we ain't going to be live at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. I will keep you posted on that anyway, because we will do it another day, I think. So, I'm just going to turn my notifications off if you're wondering what I'm doing now. There we go. Okay. For those of you that are here right now, can you just tell me if you can hear me okay? Because I've had a little bit of a problem with my earpiece over the last couple of days. So that'd be good. I'm just going to shut this window over here, Sharon.
Okay.
Keep noise out from outside.
Right.
Because the background noise is really, really pronounced on these. Right, so again, we've got a few more minutes before we get started. If you're watching now and haven't done already, can you just drop a little share using the buttons in the corners wherever they appear on your device? Get it shared with your friends, because the more the merrier, and frankly it's nice to have some people in the comments. It's a lovely day out here. We're in Suffolk, on the Suffolk and Essex border, and it is just wonderful at the moment. It started off a little bit rainy this morning. It's got better ever since, really, so it's quite good. Something a little bit different, a little bit of a different approach to the illustration today. Just bear with me a sec. Yeah, something a little bbit different today. So a little bit of a different approach to what we're going to draw. So stick with us. I'm going to just do a share of the workshop here as well. Share it. More options. Share in a group. just bear with me a little while. Meanwhile, tell us who's watching. What's your name? Have you got a birthday coming up? Let's have a look. I'll give you a second. 3 of you, yeah. Say hi in the comments, don't forget, don't be shy. Just posting the workshop in a number of different groups, and if you're in them, then you're going to see them pop up more than once, so sorry about that. There you go. Into friends at the Self-Isolating Bird Club. One more share before we get on. Wildlife. The Wildlife Club. Hope you guys enjoy. There we go. Right, so here goes. It is now, oh, still not 2 o'clock. I think my clock's fast. It's still not 2 o'clock. No one's saying hello. There's 3 people watching. No one's saying hello. Don't be shy. I know we'll have Alex, hopefully. If he's not off and about doing anything else. Alex is one of our homeschoolers and he's often on the thread. His mum shares the workshop for him. So yeah, we have quite a few homeschoolers actually during the sort of duration of the workshop. We often get between sort of 5 and 10 people watching live, but the workshops stay live for a long period. Yay! There we go. I knew Alex would be here. Hi Alex, how are you doing? The workshops stay live pretty much forever, so you can watch the show like that I'm doing today. You can watch it in a year's time; it'll still be there. So some of the workshops we've actually had over 10,000 views on. 10,000 views. Mostly we get a few hundred. So yeah, don't worry if you can't make it to the actual live show. It's there forever. Alex, going to join in with us today. We are going to draw a rather fantastic bird. We're back to birds. We started out with birds and we're back to birds now. There's a rather fantastic bird of prey. Now, a bird of prey is a bird which eats other animals or birds. Okay? And it usually eats them or catches them alive and then takes them off and eats them later. So there are lots of birds that will eat animals that are already dead, and this is one that does both. This is a red kite, and a red kite is a very large bird of prey that is a relative new return to England, at least. It was extinct in England until about 25-30 years ago, when someone decided with Natural England that it would be a good idea to reintroduce the red kite to our countryside. So there were a couple of projects. One was in the Chiltern Hills and the other was in the Rockingham Forest, and a small number of birds were released each year for over a period of years, and now I'm very, very pleased to say that the population is well over 3,000 in the UK, sorry, in England. And in Wales, which is where their last stronghold was before they were extinct in England, there are also booming populations, and they're venturing north of the border into Scotland, and there's been some reintroduction up there too. Yes, yeah. So they're actually in. I think pretty much they're in every area of England now, where they weren't before. We get them around here in on the Suffolk and Essex border. They're a wonderful, wonderful bird to watch. They look from a distance like they're flying a little bit like a seagull. And I'm probably going to get torn down for saying the word seagull, but it just, you know, describes the collection of gulls that we've got in the UK. So they fly a lot like a gull, hanging in the air, using sort of slightly bent wings. And the most notable identifying feature on the red kite, this big bird, is the V-shaped tail, fork-shaped tail. And if you come with me, I'm going to show you how to draw one now. Colours we're going to need are browns, blues, black, grey. We don't need white because the paper's white, and we might just pop a little sun in there as well. So we'll need oranges and yellows. Come over, let's get started. Oh, right. Let's see how we're doing. Oh my goodness. Now I moved the tripod, and I'm going to pay for it now, aren't I? Because I had it all set up just to pop it on the thing. So bear with me. Alex, whereabouts are you? It'd be interesting to know if you're seeing a lot or a lot of red kites. Be interesting to see, because on the Chilterns, if you go along the A40 when you go on your summer holidays, the A40 is absolutely loaded with red kites. Herefordshire, there we go. So you're not all that far away from one of their strongholds in Wales, which I think is Glaslyn Farm. Is it Glaslyn? Gigrin Farm, if I remember rightly. So we're going to start. It's a very difficult bird to draw in my style. So I've practiced a few methods about how to draw this bird, and actually I think I've done all right. I think it's I think I've worked out a way that's going to be quite helpful to you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to start just above the centre of the paper, in the middle, from left to right, and just above the centre here. So we're going to start and we're going to draw a circle around this point here, okay? Not right at the top, so we're just going to draw a relatively small circle, about the size of a 10p piece. Okay, now it doesn't matter if your circle is a bit squashy. Okay, so that's roughly the size of circle that we want to draw. Okay. And then what we're going to do is going to draw a larger circle, about twice the size, and tuck it in behind. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a bit squishy. I say that because then it excuses my squishy circle. But you do need your pencils to be relatively sharp as well. But don't push too hard, because we're going to need to do some rubbing out. So there's the second circle. And the third circle we're going to do, just a touch larger than the first circle, but smaller than the second circle, and tucked in once again behind. So here we go, behind that second circle. There we go, something like that. Okay, something like that. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to do just so part way between the bottom of this circle and the side of the circle, about here, we're going to draw a line which comes out that ends level with this circle. So we're going to draw it coming down here to about here. There we go. And we're going to do the same the other side. So it's symmetrical. And we're drawing the bird as though we would see it when we're out and about, walking or in the car, or perhaps even just sitting having a picnic somewhere. Because you normally see these birds from underneath. When you're looking from underneath, you normally see these birds in this way. So that it's much more helpful for me to show you how to draw this bird and to teach you what it looks like from this angle, because that's the angle that you're most likely to see it from. Okay? So we're going to draw a semicircle now from this point to this point here, and it's going to be about the same size as this body here. There we go, a semicircle. Just sketch it out roughly so it's easy to rub out. And next what we're going to do, we need to have a little mark here and a little mark here, okay, and a little mark here and a little mark here, because what we're going to do is you're going to draw a very, very faint line here and a very, very faint line here, and then we are going to draw we're going to draw what we call a rhomboid. Now, a rhomboid, if you know this, you might have been taught it at school. A rhomboid is like a square that's been squished. Okay? Let me show you what a rhomboid looks like. We're going to draw this kind of shape. All right? And we're going to draw it here. So what we want is for the line to start here and to end roughly on this line here, but up level with this kind of waist, this narrower part of the body. So we're going to have it end here. So we just need to draw one line across here. Just sketch it in, and then we're going to draw another line here, and then this next line up here is going to be at level with the top of our bird's wing. Okay, so we're going to stop it there. So there we go. We've got the rhomboid there, and on the other side of the body we're going to do the same thing again. So excuse the shadow. We're going to go out just as far, and again we're going to go here. So we draw a line out from here, go out just as far on this side. We're going to start that line here. So what we've got there is this kind of a line, and then bring it down here like that. Okay, I told you it's not going to be super easy. Don't worry if you're not precise, because what you need to remember is the wings of this bird are never always in the same position anyway, because when they twist and turn in the sky, these wings can go in all manner of different positions. Now we're going to duplicate or copy this rhomboid again, but we're going to draw it in reverse. So we're going to imagine that there's a line going across the page here, okay, and we're going to just draw a little dot around about there, because we're going to draw the rhomboid going the other way now. Again, this line is parallel, which means it's going in the same direction, and then there we go. So we've literally drawn a mirror image of that rhomboid there. I'll slow down and let you catch up whilst I'm doing this other wing. So once again, we're going to draw another rhomboid. The other side. I quite like the word rhomboid, do you? All right. And then we're going to draw a slightly saggy semicircle on the outside. There we go. See, it's slightly saggy, hanging down there. We're going to do the same again here, the same size, because there is what we call symmetry. There we go, on the other side. So you can see, using very basic shapes, we're making up the outline of a rather impressive bird here, aren't we? And they are indeed an incredibly impressive bird. So just to finish off the main outline of the body, we're going to draw a small triangle on the front of our red kite. And a red kite has feathers obviously all over the wing tips, the wings of the bird, and all over the body as well. But in particular, the ones you notice the most are what are often referred to as the finger feathers. And these are the primary wing feathers. And there are 5 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to create 5 finger-like bumps around the edges of the wings, and these are the fingers. And if you ever watch or get the opportunity to see a red kite, these birds, they're about the same size as if your mum or your dad or any other grown-up that you know, if you get them to stretch out their arms as wide as they can possibly be, they're probably a bit bigger than that. They're really big birds, really beautiful big birds, and they just hang in the sky and they turn and they just glide around. They don't do a lot of flapping, but when they do very slow, deliberate wing beats, and they steer using these fingers on the edge of their wings and their wonderful tail. You'll see it pitching from side to side, and their feather tips, these finger feathers I'm calling them, they will change in angle like this, just like fingers, and that will adjust their position in the sky. Absolutely incredible birds. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to smooth out these lines here. Literally, we're going to take away these pointed lines and just smooth them off. There we go. And now we can just nip in and rub out the lines within those circles, because we don't need them anymore. We don't need them anymore. But what we're going to do here is we're going to put 3 lines on each side of this lower part of the body, and these are going to be the talons of our red kite. We might be pushed for time on this one, but I'll let you catch up. So these are the talons. Now these talons are for killing and catching their prey, but as I said before when we started the workshop, these birds actually specialise in eating carrion, which is dead animals. So anything that's been already killed, they quite like to do. If you think about it, it's quite a clever way of making a living, because there's quite a lot of stuff that dies naturally that you don't have to waste any energy trying to catch. All you have to do is hang on the air with your huge wings and be really, really good at spotting things that look a little bit like a dead badger or a dead rabbit or a dead squirrel or something like that. And there's quite a lot of food source in the UK, and I wonder if you can guess where the most dead animals can be found. Have a think about that just whilst we're drawing the rest of our red kite. All I'm going to do now is just smooth off some of these lines. Look, so you just draw a little curve there, just to smooth off those lines there, and we'll just do some tidying up. Round that off. There we go. Round that off again, and again here. And again here, just round that off just to make it a nice smooth flowing line. I'm going to just bow that out, that line there at the bottom, because if you look at photographs of a red kite, it just does curve outwards slightly there. So have you given any thought to where you might find the most dead animals if you're out and about? And when I tell you, you'll probably realise quite how obvious that is, because a lot of animals get killed by cars, and they get killed by cars, and that means that by the road there are a lot of animals' bodies. And the red kite has learned this. The red kite flies along roads and motorways, which is why there are such a lot along the A40 in particular, because that's the road that follows the line of the Chiltern Hills, which is where the first lot of red kites were reintroduced to the UK. And all I'm doing is I'm just rubbing out the lines inside those smoothed lines, just so we've got our outline. There we go. How are you guys getting on? Gone a bit quiet. I guess you're concentrating. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave this lovely red kite outline as it is. We're now going to give some attention to the wing patterns. So I'm going to ask you to draw I'm just going to get you to draw a couple of shapes within the wings. So the first shape within the wings is a quarter circle, and it comes from around about a third the way between this point of the wing and the start of the curve of the fingers. So it starts about a third of the way, so around about here. Okay, and it just extends slightly beyond this point, and we're going to do the same again here. Don't worry if you're not getting it exactly right. We're not here to make a perfect picture. We're here to learn about birds whilst we're drawing them. Okay, so the red kite has got this this curve here. All of the feathers on a bird's wing after this point here radiate out in kind of a fan. Okay, so if you imagine a fan coming out from here, they radiate out, which is why when the feather changes colour part of the way along its length, you get these curved shapes in a lot of birds' wings. That's why you see that. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a bumpy line here. Bless you, Sharon. And we're just going to do a bumpy line here as well. Okay. Try and get 5 bumps in that line. Doesn't have to be exactly 5 bumps, but preferably if it is. Sharon sneezing over there. Don't worry. So there we go. We've got these little curved lines here, and then I'm going to draw just a wavy line, almost a zigzaggy line here, and the same again here, and it only goes out to the edge of that first rhomboid. So there we go, there's that wavy line. And then from this part of the rhomboid to this part of the body of our bird, we're going to just draw a very faint line here, and we're going to do the same again here. Straight line. It's making a triangle here. See that? Very faint line. Don't do any more than that. That's all we need for now. And we'll just draw, doesn't matter how many lines you do here, but just some straight lines coming out of this part of our wing, and the same again along here. And this is going to give us the impression that we've got lots of feathers. And then these lines, we want one line coming out here, and then see, look, it's radiating out, and radiating just means coming out in like a fan shape. And you can see there already it's looking much more like a feathered bird. Can you see the effect? We're just drawing simple lines here, aren't we? Nothing's particularly difficult. Okay, it might be difficult to get the size right, but don't worry about that for now. It's looking much, much more like a bird already. Now, we're going to follow the line, this old semicircle, which was at the bottom of the main circle. We're just going to follow a line there. We're just going to draw lines like that. Just, did you see what I did? Like that. And that's going to be where the head colour changes into the body colour. Now the head of a red kite is actually a silvery colour. So we're going to leave that white for now. And then this part we're going to do in a very, very light, kind of a beigey brown, something like that. So if you can get that kind of colour, we'll go on to our colours now, something like that, or just use a regular brown and don't colour too hard. Or you can use a yellowish colour. That will be fine too. So we're just going to do lots of scruffy feathers like this, going all the way down our lovely red kite's body, all the way down in rows like this. Okay? And then we stop where these feet are. Okay? We stop where these feet are. And then we're going to go longer with our strokes, our pencil strokes. See that? Like that. And then we're going to pick a slightly darker brown, perhaps something like this, that colour there. And we're just going to go and create lots of zigzags in a line coming out all the way. Look, scruffy colouring all the way out. All the way out. And all this is doing is giving the impression that we've got the texture of feathers. Okay? The texture of feathers. That's all we want to do. And we don't want this line to be a hard line. We want it to be a wiggly line. So we're just covering over that line there. Scruffy is the order of the day. We're going to use a black pencil now, and we're going to go and we're going to colour in. Look, we're not making any neat shapes here at all. Just extend a little bit beyond that semicircle. That's it. Do the same here. There we go. And then we're going to take our black again. And this is actually, it's a wonderful, wonderful colour. We're going to do the same again, or pattern I should say, on the bottom of our red kite. Okay. So I'm just going to go and colour in the fingers on our red kite. Look, how scruffy am I being with this? Because it doesn't matter. Because what we're going to do is we're going to come over this and just give it some more definition, make it look a bit better after we've done this scribbling colour. And then the last bit of black colouring, it's going to be straight along the edge here of this wing and straight along this wing here too. Anne-Marie Nicholas, I love red kites and see them most days. I live a couple of miles from Heathrow. Well, Heathrow is on the M4 junction, isn't it? On the M25, the big circular motorway that goes around the outside of London. And the M4 crosses that road. Now the M4 and the A40 follow kind of almost the same path for a short time. And as I said before, our birds, look what I'm doing here, I'm just drawing like a cloudy sort of bumpy line on the bottom of the wing. And we can do the same again here, just around the outside of our red kite's 5 fingers. I think I did 6 on that wing there. Don't worry if you've done 6 like me. You should have 5, but it's okay. So we're just going to go along the outline of this wing. Yeah, so they, again, you know, the commonality there, or the common theme with the red kites being on that junction is because they were released on the Chiltern Hills, and the A40 and the M4 are roads which go more or less along the line of those Chiltern Hills, one side or the other, and a lot of things die on the road. So with that being the case, and look, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm just going to do a darkened but not solid line around the outside of the body of our bird here, okay? And then on these forks, this wonderful forked tail, the tips on the outside here are black, okay? Not the tips of all the feathers, but just on the outside here, look. Just on the outside here. Just darken it a little bit. And we're going to get a yellow, if I can find one. Yeah, a yellow pencil. And we're going to colour in the 6 talons that you can see quite easily there. That's all you need to do. 1 stroke along each of those talons. So if you're travelling anywhere from above the northeast of London, and you travel down and you want to go to the southwest of the UK, you'll probably go along the A40 or the M40. If you're travelling towards Oxford or something like that, to go down to Cornwall or Devon, there's a very good chance you're going to go along that road and you're going to see hundreds of red kites. Well, I think the last time I went along there was about 5 years ago, and I saw 83 red kites from my car. It's very important if you're driving not to pay too much attention to the red kites, because you need to maintain control of the car. But as you're, most of you guys are children, you can leave your parents to do the driving, or whoever's doing the driving, to drive the car, and you can enjoy looking out the window, spotting how many red kites, and also trying to tell how many buzzards there are, as well as red kites. And the difference between the buzzard and the red kite, they're more or less the same size. Perhaps the red kite is a bit larger. The main difference is the buzzard has a rounded tail. A rounded tail. And more often than not, it has a straight line on the front of its wings, not this bent line here. So, grey pencil now, just to finish off the underside of our lovely red kite, just with some feather strokes here. We call these feather strokes. We do now. I just have. Look. There we go. And a yellow. Where's my yellow gone? I'll just put it back in here. I have, haven't I? There it is. Need my yellow back. Colour in that beak yellow. It's got a yellow beak with a black tip. And there we have it. We've got a red kite. It floats around in the sky. I'm going to make it a sunny day because I'll tell you what we'll do first. We'll draw a sun. Draw the sunshine. Incidentally, look, a circle. That's all we need to do for a sunshine. And then around the outside we go like this, and we put a load of connected curves or semicircles around the outside. And we use yellow and orange to colour it in. So here's the orange. We're going to go round the outside of our circle. Look, how easy is it to draw a sun? Don't worry if your sun is squishy in colour, it doesn't matter. We're here to have fun and learn a bit about wildlife along the way. Whoops. So at various places around the UK there are red kite feeding stations. Now you might be lucky enough to see some of these in the wild, and if you do spend enough time looking up, you will see a red kite at some point. But if you really want to be sure, you can go along to a feeding station. There are, if you Google or get a grown up to Google a red kite feeding station. I'm just going to go and colour in the sky now in blue because it's a lovely sunny day where our red kite is. There we go. We've gone over the half an hour. Hopefully you've been able to stick with me. There we go. Lovely blue sky. Look, I'm not paying any attention to any detail or neatness in this blue sky. I'm just colouring it in scruffily, just to give the impression that the kite is on a blue sky. We're not talking about colouring in the most perfect sky or anything like that. And then all I'm going to do is just take my black pencil, I'm just going to go along the edge of these feathers again, along the edge of these feathers, because they are fairly obvious when you see them close up, and just a few little lines there, and we'll darken this side of our red kite. Can you see this? Look, I'm just using a black pencil, not pushing very hard, shading this side of our red kite, and then darkening again another sliver which is about half the size there. And there we have it, our most gorgeous red kite. And this is probably how you're going to see your red kites in the future. Okay, you're probably going to see them like that. Where am I? We could probably give the wings a little bit of a darker colour here, like that. Don't worry if you haven't done that, you've still got the right colour for a red kite. So that's it for now. All you need to do now is just write in the name of your bird. Now what I'd really love for you to do is to share your pictures with me. This has been by me. My name's Carl Mynott, and the date is the 13th of July 2021. Do share your pictures with me. I'd love to see what you've come up with today, whether you're 5 years old or 105, I don't mind. I'd like to see what you've done, and hopefully you've enjoyed yourself whilst you have been working on it. Now I'm going to bring you over here, back to here. Sorry, got lots of my books in the way there. Here we go. So that's it for now. One thing I'm going to say is that on Tuesday the 3rd of August there won't be a live children's wildlife illustration workshop on Tuesday at 2 o'clock. That's the 3rd of August. That's because I'm doing an in-person, a real-life in-person workshop at a local craft store, craft club, not far from here in Haverhill, and that's at Snobby Eddie Crafts. You're very welcome, Alex. So pleased to have you back as always. Would love to see some of your work one day, so if you can pop it up in the comments, I'd be grateful. If not, drop me a message and I'd love to see it there. Alison, you're very welcome too. Whether you've been drawing alone or with children, absolutely lovely to have you with us. But that date again, the 3rd of August. If you want to come along, it's open for anyone to come and attend. It's aimed at primary school age children, so probably from around 4 years old to around 10 maybe, something like that. It's £12 per child, and it runs for about an hour and a half at 12 o'clock on August the 3rd this year. If we get enough bookings, there'll be another one running on the same day, so we will run a second one. Clara, you're very, very welcome. It's been lovely having you here. Sarah, thank you for letting Clara watch. And what we'll do is, if that gets booked up, we will run more workshops as well, and probably on a Thursday and stuff like that, so we can carry on with that 2 o'clock appointment every Tuesday. For now though, share the workshop with your friends. I'll be very grateful if you'd do that. Thank you ever so much. It really does make a difference to me. It does help massively to inspire young children to take an interest in the natural world, and that is, after all, really what I'm about. So enjoy your afternoons. Hopefully the sun's still shining. It's just gone in here, that's why it's got a bit darker. Have a lovely afternoon, and we'll catch up with you next week, Tuesday, 2 o'clock, right here, British Wildlife Tales. See ya. Bye.